Slavery was the worst thing that happened to humanity, and in today's context, to Jamaica. As we journey back in time to the haunting past of slave breeding farms in Jamaica, the biggest question is, how did a society built on brutality and exploitation give birth to such a dehumanizing system? What drove cunning owners to treat people as mere commodities for profit? And above all, what are the horrifying facts of slave breeding farms in Jamaica? Let's get into this right now. To understand the chilling reality of slave breeding farms, we must first delve into Jamaica's past during the height of the transatlantic slave trade. From the 17th to the early 19th centuries, Jamaica was a British colony heavily reliant on the brutal enslavement of African people to maintain its economy. Slavery was a big part of their prosperity, but there were terrible things happening behind the scenes. In 1808, the slave trade was officially banned, but unfortunately, this led to a disturbing practice known as slave breeding. Here's how it worked. Since importing new slaves became illegal, cunning slave owners found a way around it. They set up breeding farms where men and women were forced to mate not out of love or desire, but solely to produce more slaves. It was a dehumanizing process that stripped away any sense of dignity or autonomy from the individuals involved. Can you imagine the heartbreak and pain of being forced to have children for the sole purpose of increasing a slave owner's profits? This cruel system reduced people to mere commodities, continuing the cycle of oppression and exploitation. Slave breeding farms were established to facilitate this heinous practice. These farms operated like livestock breeding grounds where women were systematically paired with men against their will. Families were torn apart and relationships were disregarded, all in the name of maintaining a steady supply of slaves. Imagine being a young girl, just 12 or 13 years old, forced to become a mother against your will. You had no say in the matter, and your child's fate was completely out of your hands. Families were torn apart, and love was thrown out of the window. All that mattered was keeping a steady supply of slaves, no matter the cost. The conditions on these farms were beyond imagination, utterly disgusting and awful. The women were treated like machines, stripped away of any control over their own bodies, and treated as if they were just tools to make money for the slave owners. Their basic human rights were completely ignored, and they suffered physical and emotional abuse every single day. Even men weren't spared from this cruelty. They were reduced to mere studs, forced to father more slaves without any say in their own lives. Their worth was measured only by their ability to produce more slaves, and the toll it took on their mental well-being was immense. It's hard to believe, but by the mid-1800s, the slave trade in the South was valued at a staggering $4 billion. Enslaved people were treated like commodities, like things to be bought and sold for profit. It's truly shocking to think about how human beings could be treated so heartlessly. The children born from these forced unions faced a grim future. They were denied love and care and treated as if they were no different from livestock. Many grew up without knowing what it meant to have a real family, as they were sold off like objects when they reached a certain age. The psychological impact on those caught in this nightmare was devastating. Not only did they endure physical pain from forced labor, but they also suffered emotionally, watching their loved ones treated like breeding machines. This cruelty left deep scars that affected generations to come. Families were torn apart, connections to their African heritage were lost, and their humanity was degraded. Today, we must face these chilling truths, not to feel guilty or place blame, but to understand and empathize with the pain that our ancestors endured. It's a painful reminder of the worst of humanity, but it's essential to remember and learn from it. Let's strive to be more compassionate and understanding as we move forward together. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with others. Subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content. Until next time, stay curious and compassionate.